Yes, listening, it's interesting because it is in the Oracy framework, as you know, and we do believe that listening skills can be taught and learned. And certainly, as we can see in what's happening here now, if my listening is as important as my speaking, because if I don't hear what you say properly, I'll not say the right things. And so we do think it's important. But I think it's true that listening tends to get rather more forgotten because it is a passive, it seems like a passive thing. And so I think it has to be emphasized. And we've been trying to do that. We have on the blog, the blogs that we have on the Oracy website, on the Oracy Cambridge website, there are a couple by Lynn Dawes on listening. And we noticed that her blog on listening was the one with the most people attending it, most people reading it of all the blogs. So yeah, so it does look like people are interested. When you make listening more obvious and you talk about it, people say, "Oh yes, I see what you mean," but it has to be kind of emphasized because it's less obvious than the production. But so I think it's still something, and I hope you can do the same to make it clear that listening is something that students need to develop, and that they may not be aware themselves of how well they're listening or how they're not listening, and the skills associated with listening can be quite subtle. For example, people who take the minutes of a meeting, when you have a meeting of people, and there is someone who is taking the minutes. I've noticed as a chair of many meetings in universities that some people are much better than others at listening and capturing what was said in a summary. And I think that's part of the skills of listening, is that you don't just hear it, but you're able to take the main meaning and represent it. And I think students need to be helped to do that. If they're listening to teachers and they're listening to everything but not realizing what the important bits are, then I think they need to help to develop their listening skills in that way. And to be able to concentrate, that if they're working in a group with other people, and this applies to adults in meetings too, I think, if they're not really listening to what the person says but just thinking about what they're going to say next, they won't be really listening. And so I think there are ways you can help people develop their selective attention to be able to listen more carefully and to evaluate how well they've listened by seeing what they can represent, what they can write down or reproduce later. Say, what were the main points that the teacher made? It were this, So I think it is really important, and it has not been given the attention it really needs typically in schools.
To nourish that kind of process of cognition.
Yes. Yeah, and I think raise students' awareness of listening being something that is an active skill, that it's something that you've got to try and do, and it means you've got to be listening with an intent and with a purpose, and you're listening to try and draw out the relevant information. And that, as I say, that applies to adults too. I think people who are going to make notes or minutes from a meeting, they really need to develop that skill of taking the important things from what they hear and making sure that they represent those clearly.
That's interesting. That can be one of the task or something to develop children's ability to listen more.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Lynn, in the blog on our website, if people look at it, you might want to have a look, and you'll see that we do say, Lynn does say certain things that can be done to help develop those kind of skills.
That's interesting. So speaking was ignored in the past, but listening is ignored more because it sounds natural, and
that's right. Very much. Yes, definitely.
But very important.
Very.
Oracy as well. Thank you very much.